Hi, Allison.
Hi, Matt. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Pretty good.
What
Pretty
is this
good.
episode 2, season 5, episode 2? Is that where we're at?
I think it is. I think it is.
Wow. Cool number 2.
Cool numero dos. That's
what-
exciting.
What did we decide 5 minutes ago that we were going to talk about today?
Yeah, we're
Thought
back
stream.
to our basics, y'all. We're
Yeah,
back to
our
the basics. We have no idea.
So we have a hypothesis, and we want to know if we're alone in this.
Yes.
It's, I guess, a question that Matt and I both feel applies to us, and we're curious if it applies to our neurospicy siblings.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Go. Yes, please.
The question I have a question is, why do we love starting campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
but not so much finishing them? And I
Right.
feel like you could take out the word campaign and put any word.
Insert
That's it.
life goal here. Yeah.
We like to start things. We don't love to finish them.
That's right. That's right.
Discuss.
All, yes, projects, podcasts, seasons of podcasts. But yeah, campaigns are a special one because there's so much that goes into creating a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
All the excitement surrounding it, and then suddenly it fizzles.
What?
Why does it fizzle? Why do we let it fizzle?
I drifted. That was me drifting.
Why do you drift? That was you drifting.
Just drifted. So we're going to talk about that here on this episode of ADHd20. And
Yes.
what is ADHd20, Matt?
Well, it's a podcast. It's definitely a podcast that finds the intersection between
Ooh.
ADHD and...
TTRPGs.
That's correct. That is correct.
I love it.
It is. Yeah, I love it too. I love this podcast. I love you. I love people that are listening to this. And we've been very ADHD topic heavy in the last number of episodes, and so I chose this option because sometimes you gotta talk about TTRPGs, gotta talk about D&D, gotta talk about Daga.
But before we get into that, I don't know. We're gonna let this emerge as it would like to this season. We're not making any promises. We're gonna as we keep asking others to do in some of our tabletop topsy-turvy videos about how to do XYZ with ADHD. We're always like, hey, you should just know thyself, right?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah. Easy mode.
Easy mode. So we're gonna know ourselves here, and we're not gonna commit to anything. But if we were to commit to a bit, if we wanted to commit to a bit, an opening bit, we had the ADHd20 table, we had tarot. My question to Matt that I posed as we were getting ready to record this episode is, what is your vocal stim of the moment? Would you like to share it with the class? We'll see how many episodes are, and if they change, because we have a lot of, we opened this episode with one. Any questions?
That's, yeah. And it's, honestly, it's better to ask your friend to tell you what your current
I don't notice
vocal
mine until
stim
Matt points
is.
them out to me.
Right. So I'm sure that it's the same for me. I'm sure that it's the same for me. And if people don't know what a vocal stem is, it is this thing that your brain gets stuck on, a sound, a bit of a tune, a phrase, and it becomes a comfort place, much like a stim toy, like a spinner or a fidgety thing. But it's a vocal thing for us. And so, we're asking each other, we're asking the world at large. What's your current vocal stem, man?
I know mine. I don't know if I know yours. You and I both have started Two Women. Hey, hey. You've gotten back into your haze. I guess that's what I've heard.
Yeah. It's actually, I think it's more of a Michael Jackson, but yeah, I think same diff, something about like trying to reach a higher note is my new stem.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Well,
it's weird.
One thing that both brothers Bivens like to do is make up little songs, little ditties to narrate Or
That's actually probably related to Tourette's. Let's be honest. And I'm not in any way knocking anyone with Tourette's. That's a real deal.
no,
But it makes me think. I wonder if I have un
which
poquito touch
yeah.
of Tourette's because it's
And you both do it, but you both do it in wildly different styles. Evans are
yes.
always more of like a rap battle just going on, like just this underbelly of rhythm.
Undercurrent, yes.
Whereas Matt makes up jingles and sings them, and it's
They're
great. I love them
always
both.
and my jingles are always like a little dark, a little
Yes.
sad.
Yeah.
So it's always like, my soul is falling out of my sinuses or something. I can't do it on command. It's
Yeah. That was pretty
again,
great.
it has to be something that's just absolutely
Yeah.
ongoing. Here's the thing about vocal stem is I think they are stronger when your brain is tired.
Yeah.
Or my brain is tired.
Oh, that's so fair.
In the morning, everything I sing about is about Jesus coming to your house or your friends coming to your house and
Killing you.
killing your friends.
Yeah. Wow,
It's
we're
weird.
revealing so much. So that's
I know,
Matt's.
this is the first one.
That's Matt's vocal stem of the moment is some kind of hee hee hey. Just it's the best. It's like my comfort sound. So yes, what do you know my vocal stem of the moment? I know what I
Yes,
think my
what-
vocal stem is.
Yeah, one that you've been stuck on for a while is do 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 do. You say it after almost everything. Do 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 do. I guarantee that there's episodes of ADHd20 where people can hear Allison go do do
Such
do
a
do
nice little
do.
finisher.
Hey man, I called it for what it was instantly, and then here's the best thing: if you've got a friend who has ADHD and they understand, you just say, "Oh, that's a stem," and you just
That's
let
a
it go. You
stem.
can let it go. You just let
Well,
it.
I used to know my friends when we lived in New York because I couldn't not impersonate the subway. Please stand clear of the closing doors. Bing bong, and every single time, bing bong. And if I like my apartments were always close enough to the trains where I could hear that, like, and I would be like in my house cooking dinner, bing bong. So,
Oh my god.
that when you go to the Charlotte airport, you know, the overhead messaging, there's one and in the like smoothest, you know, voice goes, please keep a close watch. And every single time I have to complete the sentence on this heart of mine.
Interesting. Oh, that's an interesting point too. Some stems are absolutely always triggered by what you're talking about. So,
Yeah.
for example, my microwave, when the timer is done, when the food is done, it plays a little song, and I always have to continue that song.
Correct. My car,
I get it.
whenever I open the door, its chime is doo 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 doo. And if you're in the car with me, you're going to hear me doo 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 doo. I can't.
Yeah.
So that and okay, so this is I hadn't planned to talk about this. Oh, by the way, we've now changed topics. We have a new topic that we're talking about.
It's going to be about stems. Sorry. Local
Yeah, we'll
stems.
get off this in a minute,
And
but
how it relates to Dungeons and Dragons.
but I do have a question of like I'm now real, you know, like you know, we're this whole thing is just Matt and I holding a mirror up in front of ourselves and going, oh my God.
Right. Yes.
When I sing a lot, right? Like whether real songs, but especially if I'm singing a real song, because anything to the point you just made, Matt, of like once you get like you hear that song and then it's like you have to continue it.
Yeah.
So once something happens that makes me think of a song in my entire brain, if you ever want to know what's going on here, it is nothing but song lyrics, just
Yeah.
up in here. Okay,
Yes.
that's all I'm
Yes.
ever thinking about. Okay. So I will start singing if you will say something that makes me think of a song. I can't not resolve, like get to the chorus. Like I can't. And so people be like, shut up, that's annoying. And I'm like, I like, it is a compulsion. Like it causes me physical pain for both myself and to hear other people abruptly stop in like mid-verse. Like you gotta, I don't have to complete the whole song, but I gotta get to a place where like the chord resolves or like I feel like I'm gonna die.
You have
That
to
is
finish
not
the
hyperbole.
phrase. Right. No. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Am I alone in that? I'm just now realizing. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're not alone in that for sure. I mean, we're talking about it literally, so you're not alone. But it is funny. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, I was telling him about my morning psychopathic tunes about murdering your friends,
Yeah.
and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, come on. You have to wake up with something in your head. You have to wake up with a song in your head. There's no way. He's like, not really.
I don't understand. I believe you, but I don't understand.
Right.
Same thing with what people who do not wake up with a just constant soundtrack, real or made up, running through their head.
Yeah.
So, and then the other stem that I am aware of that I can't stop doing, I say this one to myself a lot in my house. My parents, when they were here for Christmas, they were telling me about they were getting something notarized at the bank, and the woman that was like multi-pages, were like, someone, okay, great, and they were like doing that. And after every time my dad would sign or initial something, she'd go, perfect, 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 perfect. And it was like the same weird And so my parents they were making fun of her. So they kept everything we were doing. They're like, perfect, perfect. And then I picked it up and I now do it to myself if I'm like cooking, like I love, by the way, so I mentioned this at the end of last season, but I have gotten into the sourdough. I am in it, friends. And so I feed my starter every single day. And my new favorite game to play is I've got, my jar is on the beautiful food scale that Matt gave me as a Christmas gift, by the way. I love it so much. And I play a game where I see if I can get the exact grammage correctly, so it's like I know if I'm going to 100 grams, like can I perfectly grab the scoop, and I've gotten really, really good at it. And so as I'm doing it, I'm in my kitchen dumping flour into jars going, perfect, perfect. And I'm like cleaning things out. I'm like, perfect, perfect. And I'm like, doing things at work. I'm like, perfect, perfect. And I'm just like, I don't even know who this broad who lives in Alabama and works at a bank is, but I've got her vocal stem now.
Man. Oh, man. Yeah, that's the way it works. That's vocal stemming.
So get to typing. Tell us what your vocal stem is, and we'll see if we remember to bring this topic up ever again.
Yeah. Very unlikely, but I liked it. I liked talking about it. I've never actually outed myself about like this publicly, about especially my morning death wishes. So, but yes, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why starting a new campaign feels better than finishing one. It's a good topic. And I want to say that this is probably one, we're going to frame it in neurodivergent brains, but this is almost definitely one that can be applicable to many people, not just people with ADHD and the like.
Yeah.
Because, How do you want to start this?
How do you want to do this?
I want to do this.
I will say, for me, and I'll be interested to hear from you, Matt, on this. Yes, I agree with this topic. But I agree with it more as a DM than I do as a player. It's like when somebody else is in charge.
Sure. Let's not blame the players, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Play. Yeah.
I'm saying I don't notice the struggle. Like I don't notice as a player.
Right.
But I do notice it as a GM. I'm just like, oh God. So it's like, it's almost, and so maybe this is like the novelty side of our brain, which we already know is kind of broken for me in a way it's not for you, that I don't experience the need for novelty as often. But I wonder if like the novelty of a new campaign is exactly what it's our little dopamining of like, it's all these ideas and things like that. And they haven't come into fruition yet.
Yeah.
So the basic arc that we kind of like quickly thought through was, there's the high of the beginning.
Yeah.
All those infinite thought strands peeling off in all these different directions. And, we could do this and we could do that. And have you thought about this? And we're all like sharing, it's like we're talking to the GM and saying, this is what I'm thinking, or this one. And it feels really good to like be in that feedback loop. And then you're talking to your friends who are also in the campaign. And what if we know each other in this way? And like all of these different things. And then something shifts, right? Mid-campaign. Like everything when it was hypothetical, but now it's like I've created and I've trauma bonded with my fellow chaos goblins, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's that shift, and then comes the guilt spiral. Like we should finish this, right?
Should step in.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And we all know that we're obviously at our best once we introduce should into the vocabulary. The second you tell a human in general, but a neurodivergent one specifically, that they should do something.
Yep. Yeah. That's a winning time. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And the truth where you start to either try to pick up the pieces, yeah, or don't, or just leave it all behind.
Don't.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. Number one, the high of the beginning. Easy. Yeah. Right? New characters, new ideas. Infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah. A clean slate. A clean slate is a wonderful place to be. It's a wonderful place to be. It's just, yeah, no mistakes. And we have done this. We've experienced this a couple of times together, right? There's a world that I've created that I've tried so many times to
in a world
that I've tried to bring to life in a continuous, solid way. And so it's not that it necessarily failed or fell apart, but it has had many new beginnings, many starts. And I've had to jump through time, and I've had to retcon stuff, and we had to change an entire role-playing system for it to start finally maybe feeling a little bit easier. But each time, each new start, we're not out of the safety zone, honestly, with the newest version of this. We're not. I mean, we kind of just started it, so it could also fall apart, but hopefully not. Everything is new. Like your brain is just all these things are making sense.
I wonder if it's the stakes of it all, right? When something is new, there are no stakes attached to it, right? Because we're all in this like limbo and this free fall of like, I'm just making shit up with my friends.
Yeah.
But the more you build this story and the deeper into it you get, as I mentioned before, it's like we have these emotional connections. We have expectations, that dirty old word.
Yes.
And we are also, burdened by lore and like canon and like, and then it becomes like, it almost, I hate what's about to come out of my mouth. It takes me back to school days, right? That first day of school feeling, right? You haven't had any homework assigned yet. You still have this belief that your teachers aren't going to be crabby old witches. You haven't seen your friends in a little while. You get a new outfit. You get a new pencil case. Like all of these new. And so like nothing has like sunk in yet. But then it's like as we move through the school year, right, it gets harder because we're filling our brains with more and we're being tested on it. And that's happening in campaigns too. We're filling our brains and it's like every session is a test on the set. How well were you paying attention? And that I wonder, like, if that is triggering some kind of like, oh God, response in us now that we've burdened our creativity with expectations, right?
Yes.
And then then that's like by the end of the year you're fucking exhausted and you're ready for the school year to end. You're ready to resolve that chord,
right?
But it's just like it feels so much harder than the lightness. So I guess that's made me the question of this very episode is how can we keep that? Because I feel bad, right? Like we're talking about this thing that we love to do, that we choose to do, that we want to do. Then I'm using words like burden and expectation and But maybe that's the problem is that,
Yeah, and your point is very valid. This is usually something that the GM feels most, but I will put two pieces of blame down on the player. Because for those of you who don't know, in role-playing games, it's almost 100% game master versus player every game. No, but there are a couple of things where the player can also derail the whole system.
For sure.
And
Hundo percent.
so you do have to kind of be careful about those. But as you are approaching that messy middle, and you are trying very hard to keep, quote unquote, your vision, without railroading, with also input from other players, and they are like, no, I'm just not feeling that. I want to do this, or even if it's totally organically, like they are on board, but maybe you haven't done the best job of describing your vision. I don't know exactly what happens, but there is often that point where you're like, oh no, this is kind of turning into something else, or this is not what I signed up for, or and so that does go both ways, right? Like that. The whole point is to tell a story together, and so if you find yourselves not on the same story, if you're telling different stories, like the time that we were blindsided and our characters went to the moon, and that was not we did not want to go to the moon, but we weren't given a choice. And
Put on your spacesuit, loser. You're going to the moon.
go to the moon, and we just didn't want to go to the moon, and so that definitely became a weight. What?
Just the absurdity of like the ADHD side of the house listening to this episode. And suddenly we're bitching about having to go to the moon. In the moment we were mad, and we just need you to trust us, okay?
I know. That's a good point. That's a really good point. That is a really good point.
The word that kept
weird.
being used was anachronistic, okay?
Anachronistic.
It didn't jive with the players that we had built, the campaign we thought we were in.
Right.
And it was just,
That's
took
right.
such a hard, but now I'm like, the whimsical moon palace sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I would go to the moon, but yeah, you did. We were blindsided, though. To be fair, we were blindsided by the GM, and we did not. We did not. It's like you're watching a TV show that's like intimate and about relationships, and then suddenly like there's a space battle, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not. It got too big. So that could be a player thing. Also, the biggest big bad of all big bads is scheduling.
Yes.
Scheduling can kill the best of everything, and that's not just players' deals. It's everybody's. It is hard. It is hard. As you wrote, life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way. Life finds a way, but life also gets in the way.
Right.
I will, if we're gonna kind of now segue into like solutions oriented
Sure. Let's do
approaches to this, I will say to the point you just made, Matt. We have, our patron game. Matt and I traded places a few months back where he started as the GM, I started as a player, and now we're this. And at the time, I think we were only meeting once a month. And that was like crippling for me as both a player and a GM, because it's so hard to stay in any kind of momentum. I think that's, part of it too, is like our brains do really well with a beat. That's probably why we sing to ourselves all the time, because we need this metronome going and like pushing us forward. And it's like when you don't have a steady schedule and you're just kind of playing at the whim of whenever 6 or 7 people can all get together, it's hard to stay in that rhythm. And now we're making jazz, but I signed up to write a pop song. So I'm just going to throw as many metaphors at this as I possibly can.
Please do. Yeah, let's do it.
And I feel like everything did kind of change for me as a GM, because I got to a point where I was like not wanting to run sessions. I was having fun with my friends. So anybody listening to this, don't think it's that I didn't want to play with you, but like it was painful for my brain to try and like hold the story together with that big of a gap of time. And I felt like every session we were having to spend half the time catching back up, and it's like, I don't think that works for me as a GM or a player. So it's like playing more often in a steadier cadence, even if the whole party can't gather.
Right.
feels better and gets me into that rhythm, because I will make up even shit I want to do. I will make up reasons
Yeah.
when I'm feeling stressed.
All day. All day. Uh, and the interesting point about that, the why do we do that? Why do we have this thing that we love, whether we're on the moon or not? Why do we have this thing that we love, and we get to a point where like I can't. And one thing we talk about a lot is the messy middle. The messy middle of anything is terrifying for us. It is it is the most crippling thing for me anyway. It is really
Yeah.
the see, I think that's why I disliked school so much is the end, yay. The beginning, sure, pretty exciting. It's the what is going to happen in the middle? Who is going to be popular? Who's going to beat me up? Who's going to how much is it going to drag on? What is,
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to keep in my brain future events. And so I know that they're there, but I forget dates, I forget times, I forget specifics. And so I start to get anxious about them. Unless I just write them on a whiteboard that I can see every day, that I remind myself every day, because the messy middle is so terrifying. And I think that's a big part of it with campaigns too, is you've got this, like, here's how the players met. It's really fun and exciting. Everybody's hooked. You're like, yay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then you've made it easy on yourself, maybe by borrowing from other great writers, and you feel like you've got stuff, but like you said, the timing isn't right.
Yeah.
The energy isn't right.
Yeah.
This and that, and the system isn't right, and you're stuck. You're drowning in the messy middle.
Easy
Right.
peasy place to drown.
That's right. And there's guilt involved. The feeling that you have to kind of get like burn through, and then the RSD kicks in, right? Like this same group that we are co-DMing. I mean, you and I have both worried, just worried that no one's having a good time,
Yeah.
because some of the players are just not demonstrative, but they are having a good time.
Yeah.
They are.
Then this session ends and they're like, that's the best. I was like, I really thought I'd lost y'all. I really
I thought
you.
that you hated my guts.
I thought that we
you
were
coming to my
enemies
house
now.
and killing me.
Yeah,
I really did. Yeah.
Well,
So
Matt, I don't. Is this the place to tell you?
you're coming to my house to kill me?
Already hired the Kentucky Goblins to reach through your window and grab you by the hair.
Hello?
Oh, they're early.
Oh God, they're early. Wow. So yes, okay. So yes, let's go back. You're stuck. You're stuck. You're like, oh no, and then your brain goes back into, okay, I got to redo this. I could just redo it. I could start it all. Yeah.
That always do be our solution. I've had this conversation with our good friend Dr. Jenna Cohen before, where like we are ready to move, start over, ditch our job, ditch our family, ditch our whole lives, and like it turns out we needed a new couch.
Right.
Like she and I have both. Any of Jenna's friends and families listening, she didn't want to ditch you.
Right.
Just
No,
go
no,
ahead.
not really.
But like we have talked about like our desire to move out of places before, and it was really like it came down to a piece of furniture, or I'm ready to burn the world down, and it turns out I was just hungry, or thirst. Like I just needed a glass of water and like a night on the couch, like like all of those different things. And I feel like that. What you just said, like it becomes very intense where we are convinced, like we just need to scrap this and start over. That's always, that is our go-to, that's our default fit. I just need to scrap this and start over. I just, like, I know that I had some of these ideas that we were going to, but I just realizing, I was like, oh no, that really, we are.
No, it explains my my intense desire to futz. It explains my endless wandering eye for new technology, new notes apps, new everything. It's all about starting over and scrapping things.
We do like to. Okay. So the other thing that came up while you were talking, I think right when I started GMing, I was trying to do pre-built adventures and run them, and I instantly knew that did not work with my brain. I felt too in it. That sounds like the opposite, right? When you're a new GM, it sounds like you want someone to like hand you an instruction manual and tell you what to do. But I just felt like those felt like homework. Like it felt like required reading. If the second I'm told I have to read a book, I want nothing to do with that book. The second I pick a book up of my own choice, I love that book. But I learned quickly that pre-built adventures were not for me. It was going to be better. I might use like the rails, but I needed to come up with my own baddies. I needed to come up with my own. And I have to wonder if like some of the times where we have felt stuck, if their correlation is not causation. I understand that. You know, ice cream sale surges do not have to mean more murders or whatever that study goes. But I have to, and part of this is like we talk a lot about, you know, the game Daggerheart, right? Where that is a lot more collaborative and it is less like dungeon master versus players and more like, what are we all seeing and experiencing together? So I almost wonder if that's one of the solutions is like the more you can like immerse yourself along with your players and be like co-builders in that story and less like I am trying to get you through the following levels and to beat the following bad guys until the end. I guess we'll have to do some testing.
We're going to do some testing, and we, you know, this new channel, Tabletopsy Turvy, is kind of a learn in public channel in general, and I feel like these are some of the lessons that we're trying to learn as human beings, as game masters, as players. Yeah, and then you turn on Dimension 20 or Critical Role or Worlds Beyond Number, and you're like, oh, I'm the worst. I'm the worst person. I can't do anything. This is such a beautiful story that has been told by these humans. So but what can we do? What can we do to escape the messy middle to get to the end?
Yeah, I think...
and that
No, continue your thought.
I was gonna say that end is to AK's last statement. One, you know, the Curse of Strahd has an ending. Mm-hmm. Your own campaign does not. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen, right? Which is very interesting too, because how many things do we start where there is no actual end? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like your campaign could end up like Lost or Battlestar Galactica. It could just suck. But how do we? It doesn't matter. How do we get past that? How do we?
My initial thought, but this then feels like the opposite of what you just said, which I also agreed with. So how can we like find the middle ground here?
Okay.
Is shorten the arcs, right? Like we tend to, and like we've talked about this in some of our Table Topsy-Turvy stuff, you know, where it's like we are no longer in the 1980s and 90s. We are no longer in the 1900s, friends. I know that in a lot of our brains, especially those of us with time blindness, when I say 20 years ago, I think we're talking about 1980 something and not early 2000 something. That hurts my feelings. But it was like the precedent that they set was hours long game sessions, years and decades long, you know, campaigns. And hey, If you're listening to this and you and your table love that, there is not an ounce of shade coming from either of us to tell you not to do that if it's working. We're simply admitting that does not seem to work for us. That's all. And we're trying to find a solution so we don't get lost in the weeds. And I feel like if you can prioritize, the campaign can be what the campaign is, right? But if you can prioritize shorter arcs, I feel like that will lead to less lore bloat.
Yeah. I love that. And I actually don't think that it's a direct contradiction to what I was saying, because I think that what you're giving is a solution to that. What you're saying is think modularly in all ways. I mean, I have never been failed by a modular situation in anything in my life. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Like a one and done. I try so hard to have a one and done solution for it. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work for my brain. It doesn't work for coding. It doesn't work for gaming. It doesn't work for these things. To think of an arc. Yes, you may not know the end of the story. If you would like to play with your friends for 50 years and have this incredible ending, you don't have to come up with that. Have a goal in mind, though, for the next 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a goal. Having just write the quote unquote ending to your own campaign, your own Curse of Strahd, and that way you've got that grounding force. And then you decide, do we keep going? Who has died? Has anyone died? Yeah. What is, but the beauty of having a pre-built adventure is that we know that Strahd is either going to kill you or you're going to kill him. That's what's so great about it. And so do the same. I love this. Yeah. Build your arcs.
When we think about some of the worst television shows, they were ones that were wired to a particular outcome instead of honoring the story. The two that I'm thinking of are Game of Thrones, which I think we can all agree that the entire final season was utter trash, and we're all still mad about it. Actually, I can think of three. Game of Thrones. Can you guess the other two I'm going to say?
I mean, something to do with Star Wars? There's a lot of pandering in there.
No, but it's not one of the ones you've already mentioned, I don't think.
No, what are you?
The three, most unsatisfying season and series finales I can think of off the top of my head in my experience: Game of Thrones, Lost, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. Oh, How I Met Your Mother.
All three of those examples, they had plotted the end at the beginning and they were going to finish that way. And I think that's a really good lesson for us in life and in TTRPGs, because they didn't honor the story. How I Met Your Mother, by the time we got to season 9 or 10 or whatever it was, the story hadn't gone in that direction, but they used the excuse of, well, we already filmed with the children. Throw it out. Have the kids come back and you're interviewing them present day. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I understand you had shot footage with them as 13-year-olds 10 years ago, but that ending made no sense and we're all mad at it. Still, how many years ago did How I Met Your Mother end? And I'm still mad about it.
Dexter. Dexter's another one. Whoa.
See, I didn't watch that one, but I have definitely heard all of the.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've kind of tried to make up for it, but wow, painful.
But yeah, I think the lesson in life and TTRPGs is this: I'm literally going to let the story unfold rather than say we're starting at point A and we're getting to point B, and the story is only what happens between those two places.
Right.
But yeah, less defined overall storyline, shorter arcs, and so then that way, because the thing is that if you aren't occasionally course correcting, you're gonna. And maybe you all decide collectively you want to off-road and go over, and that's okay too. But if you have the shorter arcs, you can, okay, great. And it's almost like as a group, you can decide as you kind of bring it back, what actually is canon and what's not. Because where my brain starts to unravel in the long campaigns is remembering all the things
Mhm.
and the stress that comes from that. So if we just kind of say like, hey, these are the big 5 things, everything
Yeah.
else, maybe we all just experience those in slightly different ways.
Well, this is really cool because you're what you're doing is you're reframing some of the stuff that we have
Yeah.
experienced,
Speaking from
right? Like
experience.
the biggest thing that I haven't always done is definitively ended that arc.
Yeah.
But to your point, we have started, uh, campaigns in this particular country for a number of times. All we had to do, and maybe all we have to do for the future, is just to say, okay, we got the beginning, we hit the middle, and we were still doing okay. It's feeling a little draggy. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Let's give some kind of dun dun dun, to end with, and then maybe move on, and then maybe burn it to the ground.
Then maybe
That's
burn it.
good.
And you did that though with our current home game. I feel like you were like, hey, I'm starting you here.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to go. You might
Right.
stay here. You might not.
Right.
And I feel like you're doing a great job as a GM of like pelting us with options that come from any of those, because I don't know where we're going, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
Like, I'm not upset
Yeah.
with it at all, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so shorter arcs, and I'm trying to do that with our patron game as well, where I've tried to be pretty declarative. Is that how you say that word?
Mhm.
About like, here's where this arc is ending. And part of that is because we're trying to make it so it's accessible for people to enter and exit the campaign and never feel beholden to us, or
Yeah.
things like that. So that was some feedback
Right.
we got, and I really liked it. But I think it's a good advice to like be clear with people. Like, here is the off ramp. I'm not telling you I want you to take it. I'm just telling you it's there.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I think that's a good
Yeah.
like upfront contract to have with people we're going to game with. And then I think the other thing that we can do a better job, I think we've gotten a little closer to this. It looks like you're about to say something. Am I cutting you off?
Well, no, no. I think we're about to say the same kind of thing, but
Say it.
keep going.
I've talked too much. You say it.
Well, I think one thing I've never been good at in all of my endless quest for perfection in whatever, like note taking or games or is the permission to let go, the permission to step down, the permission to understand and accept. Hey, you're going to do this. Period. Give yourself a break. Just do it. And one thing that whenever I do kind of keep it in mind, it's so great, but I forget to keep it in mind, is think in these milestones. Like you don't know when they're going to come. It's not a milestone like on this date this is going to happen. It's more like
Yeah.
at some point you're probably going to grow tired of this app and you're going to want to find something else and you're going to redo everything. That, like, go into everything like that.
Yeah.
Go into everything you do like that. Because if you give yourself the break from the get-go, no surprises, no alarms, it's like, and maybe you will stick. Maybe
Yeah.
you will stick with it. My favorite app, Tana, is one that I have stuck with, and I've been like on the cutting edge of, like, from the very beginning. I've been a part of this community of this weird personal knowledge system, and they just recently came out and said, we're going to redo this. They're actually doing what we're talking about right now, and they're doing it because well, for a number of reasons, the reasons that we've talked about, right? Like a desire for something new, an inability to kind of like take what you've built and then make it easier for some people to make it more accessible, right? Like they have great reasons, but the entire world of Tana lovers is like, oh no. And I'm like, well, I'm really glad that from day one, even though I like this app a lot and I've stuck with it, I gave
permission.
myself permission to leave.
Yeah.
I gave myself permission.
Yeah.
So I won't be hurt if it does fall apart. I don't think it will. But I, it helps so much. It helps so much.
What is this is just a hypothesis I'm mulling. What is your relationship to, your reaction to putting down books you're not enjoying, ending movies that you're not? We'll leave TV shows out of this, especially if you don't know when you begin a TV show how long it's going to go on. So we'll say specific to, like, I know I'm picking up this book and I don't like it, or I'm watching this movie and I don't care for it. What are your feelings?
Yeah. I feel like there was a point in my life where I felt bad about not finishing it. I know that my wife still feels very bad. She will read a book for years just to finish because she has to finish it. She's a completionist, and I am not. I'm just not a completionist. So I do not feel bad. My take is this: whether life is short or not, this is something that you should be enjoying. And if you're not enjoying it, within reason, I mean, challenge yourself. But if you're not enjoying this, get out. Get out as fast as you can. Do not. Yeah, it is. There's nothing worse than enduring a slog thing. Then there's slog that you endure because you're there's a reason for it. But this is different. Like, I just go and eject as soon as I can.
Same. Okay.
And sometimes it hurts so bad to do that because everyone loves blank.
Yeah.
Everyone loves this video game. It is the top 10 video game of every human being's. And I just can't. I keep getting stuck. Or this book is magic, or this TV show, The Wire. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen The Wire, you will never be a pure human being. I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't.
I love a DNF.
It's hard. Huh?
I celebrate them. I said, I love a DNF.
Yeah.
I celebrate them. But I do, like, when I have friends who, I feel like it's especially prevalent for books.
Yeah.
There's some, like, and I'm like, but you're not enjoying it. And then there's, like, and here's where it really gets me, where they're like, I know how it ends. I'm like, yeah, the internet exists. There are so many things that I noped out of that I just Googled because I was curious, right? Like, you want to know. And I'll be honest, that's actually how, I think that's why I'm not that mad at Lost, but I know everybody else is. I watched the first season and the last season, but I didn't.
You skipped all mess.
I wasn't emotionally about, but
Boy, was it messy. Yeah.
My plan had been, I had watched the first season and I had genuinely enjoyed it. And that was when Lost was so hot. And then I just lifed, and I had a bunch of things going on in that period of my life, and I was, and then it was and I was like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I was like, here's what I'm gonna do, because I don't mind spoiled endings. Like, that doesn't. In fact, I think we've talked about this before. Where, like, in some ways it's like calming to my nervous system to know what happens, so I know it's gonna be okay. So I remember being like, okay, I have a good enough idea from all of my friends having watched it, like, kind of what's happened. I'm just gonna pick back up, and then if I enjoy it, I'll go do a rewatch, because we also know I love a rewatch. So I watched the entire last season and then was like, no, I'm not giving that any more of my time. But I watched so many of my friends struggle with books in particular of and I'm like, I feel no moral obligation to a book. Maybe
I just went
inside.
I just went through this. There's a book called Hail Mary, written by an author that did The Martian, and Lindsay really, really wanted me to read it. Not necessarily that she was like, this is the best form of writing, but it is a very, very Dan Brown-y book. I'm so sorry for those who love his books, but he is not a good writer. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's not good writing. But It is short, and he is a very, very good at cliffhangers. So I managed to kind of get through, but for months she was like, "Have you finished it? Have you read it?" Because we wanted to go see this movie with Ryan Gosling, and the movies of these books. This is not a compliment, but they're better than the books for sure. And so, but yeah, I it's like, oh my God, I can't put myself in it. So I did stick with this one, but it was so touch and go so many times.
Yeah.
I felt that pain. It's painful.
And so here's the final tidbit of wisdom as we've talked about the solutions for this and all this and why I like kind of asked that question, right? So we've said helping shorter story arcs. We've said, kind of like built in, like finding the on ramps and the off ramps, in all of this. And like what we wrote for ourselves is permission to end things early on purpose. I didn't say permission to stop, because I think that's the crux for me of like, like I this thing is feeling arduous and hard and I don't want it to, but I do want to keep playing with my friends. I do like I want to keep playing. So it's like end things early. And for me, that's the equivalent of the DNF I just shared, where I just Google the end of the book. If I'm not enjoying it and I give it a shot, because sometimes books do need 100 pages or two.
That's right. Yeah.
So you got to give it a fair shot. But like, so permission to end early means Google the ending, have just like a light, like hand wave session where you just kind of say, and then this happens and then that happens. Hey friends, what do we want to dream up together next? And one thing that I think you've done really well at, Matt, is you kind of have beat up on yourself a little bit in this episode for the stop starts in our world, is you have learned from every stop start.
Every time.
Every single time you have had takeaways of like, here's the thing, So the very first thing that we ever tried in that world, this is going to be surprising to everybody listening to this, but I prefer to play casters. I don't love martial characters. So the type of world I want to play in tends to be a more, not necessarily high fantasy, but like magic is a component of the world that is incredibly exciting to me. And I don't know that I want to play without it. Well, in the first one, I was like, magic is, forbidden. It is taboo. Only very specific people get it. And we were trying to like just jam that in, and then it's like we've had other like stops and restarts where it's like magic is still taboo. Magic is still not accessible to the entire population. How can we either roll, stuff like that. And so it's been like a conversation each time, because you learn from that first time that putting me into a world where I just can't have access to magic, especially because magic exists. And I'm just not, I know the cookie jar is up there, but I'm just told I can't touch it. No, I'm going to get a cookie. So kudos to you for that, for the learning experience.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is learning too. A lot of it is learning. And yeah. All
right.
Are we giving ourselves permission to end this podcast? Is that what we're doing? We're gonna end it early on purpose.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, everybody. See you next time. That's it, right? That's so it. That's so it. I'm gonna stop it right now. I don't even care.